The second season of Squid Game ended on a nail-biting cliffhanger, leaving viewers eagerly anticipating the next deadly challenges. Today, we'll dive deep into what might be in store for us in Season 3. The show's creators have dropped subtle hints about 4 new games, and we're going to break them down. But the biggest question remains: who will survive until the end? And who is the new mysterious character set to appear in Season 3? Let's find out. In Season 1, the contestants discovered that the walls of their dormitory weren't just decoration, they were foreshadowing the upcoming games. Yet, oddly enough, Ji-hoon didn't mention this when he returned to the games. So, let's examine what new deadly games might be awaiting us. One of the most striking images on the dormitory walls is a chessboard. This suggests that human chess could be one of the new challenges. And given the show's fondness for referencing childhood games, it might be similar to the magical chess seen in Harry Potter. But in Squid Game, everything is deadlier. How would human chess work? Most likely, this game will take place after at least one other challenge, as traditional chess only has 32 pieces. To reduce the number of players to that level, the Game Masters could use a high-risk elimination round, just like in Season 1, when the Glass Bridge Challenge drastically cut down the competitors. Imagine a massive chessboard where contestants serve as pieces, controlled by 2 strategists, just like in a real chess game. Each piece follows classic chess movement rules. But here's the twist. When a piece is captured, the player dies. Every move becomes a potential death sentence, raising the stakes to a whole new level. The game isn't just about following orders, it's about survival, as players must avoid attacks while executing their strategist's plans. If the king falls, the entire team is eliminated, making strategy the ultimate key to survival. Beyond the deadly mechanics, human chess serves as a powerful metaphor. It reflects how the powerless are used as pawns by the elite. And the real kicker? Team leaders must sacrifice their own players for the greater victory, turning the game into an agonizing moral dilemma. Now here's where things get even more interesting. The new teaser might reveal who will lead these teams. If you look closely, Ji-hoon and the frontman are sitting together at the center of the stage, suggesting that Ji-hoon will command the black chess pieces, while the frontman leads the white. It's the perfect embodiment of their ideological clash. Ji-hoon, believing in humanity's goodness and fighting to dismantle the games, against the frontman, who insists that human nature is driven by greed and corruption. But what if the frontman isn't just an antagonist anymore? Let's take a closer look at his past. From Season 1, we know that the frontman, In-ho, competed in the 28th Squid Game in 2015 as player #132 and won. Like many others, he entered the competition at rock bottom, desperate and broken. But in the final moments of Season 1, we learned that In-ho was once a devoted police officer and a loving husband. His life took a tragic turn when his wife was diagnosed with acute liver cirrhosis. To make matters worse, she was also pregnant. Doctors urged her to terminate the pregnancy for the sake of her health, but she refused. As her condition deteriorated, the couple faced mounting medical expenses, and In-ho, desperate, started accepting bribes. But he was caught and immediately fired from the police force. It was at this moment, when he was at his lowest, that the Squid Game recruiters found him. He entered the games, endured unimaginable horrors, and emerged victorious. But when he returned home with his prize money, he was too late. His wife had died, and with her, their unborn child. In Season 2, we also learned that In-ho once donated a kidney to save his half-brother's life. This suggests that he was once a deeply compassionate person. The Squid Game didn't just break him, it shattered his belief in justice. We don't yet know how he transitioned from contestant to the game's host, but Season 3 may finally unveil this transformation. What we do know is that his shift to the dark side happened recently, just before the 33rd Squid Game. His adoptive mother and brother thought he had simply disappeared, believing he had been kidnapped. But in reality, this was the first time In-ho took over the games from Il-nam. Here's where it gets interesting. The creator of Squid Game has confirmed that while writing In-ho's character, he intentionally included glimpses of his humanity. The frontman genuinely enjoys Ji-hoon's company, and Ji-hoon's unwavering hope is starting to affect him. His optimism is contagious. In general, the frontman experiences many triggering moments throughout the game. Ji-hoon reminds him of his past self, showing that there is another way, a path of hope. He proves that the frontman's chosen path is not the only option. The show's creator even stated that Ji-hun's compassion is so powerful that deep down, a small part of In-ho is actually rooting for him. Additionally, as we learned in the last season, the frontman hasn't completely lost his humanity. He still cares about his brother. At the end of Season 1, he had the chance to kill him, but instead, he only shot him in the shoulder. And not only that, he later arranged for a ship's captain to rescue his wounded brother at sea, ensuring his survival for the next 2 years. So, there's a theory that in Season 3, In-ho will have a change of heart, reevaluate everything, and finally return to the side of good. He might stand with Ji-hoon, help bring the games crashing down, and fight to save the remaining survivors. If this happens, it won't just be a twist. It will be one of the most powerful redemptions in the entire series. On the other hand, there's another compelling theory, one that suggests Ji-hun himself is unknowingly following the same path as the frontman. As the season progresses, he may find himself faced with the ultimate choice. Should he destroy the games or take control of them as the new frontman? In fact, we may have even received a subtle confirmation of this theory on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. When Fallon asked Lee Jung-jae directly whether Gi-hun would become the next host of the Squid Games, the actor playfully avoided giving a straight answer and instead pressed both buttons, suggesting that the decision could still go either way. Now, back to the games. Another theory suggests that the checkered pattern seen on the walls could be a reference to Jangi, also known as Korean chess. Jangi is played on a 9x10 board, with pieces divided into different classes: generals, or palaces, guards, horses, elephants, chariots, cannons, and soldiers. Like traditional chess, each piece follows unique movement rules, and the goal is to checkmate the opponent's general. However, unlike Western chess, Jangi pieces move along lines rather than squares. The next game is Monkey Bars, a brutal test of endurance, agility, and sheer survival instincts. Players must navigate a treacherous path of suspended bars, knowing that one wrong move could send them plummeting into the abyss below. This challenge will likely take place before human chess, reducing the number of remaining players to a minimum. Some even speculate that it could serve as a punishment for rebellion, forcing contestants into a desperate fight for their lives. Physically grueling and mentally exhausting, this game demands incredible strength and balance. Some bars are stable, but others, weak and ready to snap under pressure. Every step forward is a gamble, with time relentlessly ticking away. Players will be forced to make split-second decisions, help an ally or push them off to gain an advantage. Game rules. 1. Limited time. Players must cross before the bars begin to collapse. 2. Some bars are weakened. Stepping on them means certain death. 3. Sabotage is allowed. Players can push opponents to increase their own chances of survival. At its core, this game is a brutal metaphor for the cutthroat nature of competition. It perfectly captures the show's overarching themes of survival, manipulation, and inequality, where winning often comes at the expense of others. Like all Squid Game challenges, Monkey Bars isn't just about physical skill, it's about how far people are willing to go to stay alive. Another game, teased in the post-credits scene, features a railroad track and a road sign, a possible reference to one of the most famous ethical dilemmas in philosophy, the trolley problem. Originally proposed by Philippa Foot, this thought experiment forces a person to make an impossible choice. A speeding train is heading toward 5 people tied to the tracks. There's a lever that can divert the train onto another track, but there's one person tied there instead. The dilemma? Do nothing and let 5 die, or take action and sacrifice one to save the majority? How this game might work in Squid Game. The railroad forks into 2 paths, one with multiple players, the other with just one. A contestant must choose which direction the train will go. Red and green lights from the teaser resemble those at a railroad crossing, reinforcing the idea of a train-themed game. This fits perfectly with Squid Game's recurring theme, players being forced to decide who lives and who dies. In Season 2, contestants frequently had to eliminate each other, and now it looks like the 3rd season will push this idea even further, perhaps making the players executioners themselves. And finally, the 4th game, introducing Cheol-soo. The latest Squid Game Season 3 teaser unveiled an all-new character, a boy doll named Cheol-soo, who appears to be a counterpart to the infamous Yeon-hee from Red Light, Green Light. Show creator Hwang Dong-hyuk mentioned in a 2022 interview that he planned to introduce Cheol-soo, but the character was absent from Season 2. Now it seems like Season 3 will finally bring him into the game, but that doesn't necessarily mean Red Light, Green Light will be repeated. Instead, rumors suggest a new game will replace it. Jack and Jill, a deadly climb. Players start at the bottom of a hill and roll a colored die. The color determines their starting position. Throughout the game, they must use a spinner to determine their next move, either climbing higher, sliding back down, or even losing a turn. Any wrong move will be punished by the giant doll overseeing the game. The goal? Reach the top of the hill first, or survive long enough to make it there at all. This could be one of the most physically grueling games yet, filled with randomized luck, unpredictable risks, and ruthless eliminations. And with the addition of Cheol-Soo, we might see a twist in the power dynamics between the two dolls. Perhaps Yeon-hee and Cheol-Soo will work together, or maybe they'll compete against each other. Either way, one thing is clear. Season 3 is shaping up to be the most intense, brutal, and emotionally charged season yet. Now let's talk about the biggest mystery of the season, the new character. Many fans have already guessed it. The symbol of rebirth and new hope will be none other than the child of player 222. It's no coincidence that the entire season subtly revolved around the pregnant woman. From the very first game, Ji-hoon instinctively protected her. There's even a moment where frontman carefully offers his milk to player 222, a rare moment of unexpected compassion. In-ho's concern for the pregnant player isn't random. She reminds him of his late wife. The clues keep stacking up. A shaman's prophecy hints that Ji-hoon survived for a reason, that he has a special mission, while the camera lingers on the pregnant woman. An old midwife in the script instantly recognizes that player 222 is far along in her pregnancy, which seems like an intentional setup. Season 3 will likely feature a birth right in the middle of the deadly games, and this event will change everything. The midwife will likely be the one delivering the baby. Ji-hoon might find himself fighting to save the newborn. This moment could even crack the cold shell of the frontman, forcing him to confront his deepest trauma, the loss of his own child. And let's not forget the other players who might be drawn into this moment. Mengi, the child's father, will be directly involved. The North Korean sniper girl, who lost her own baby in infancy, could become a fierce protector of this child. This baby's birth might not just shake up the story, it could be the very thing that triggers the frontman's transformation and leads to a real revolution within the games. Who will survive? A hidden clue in the trailer. Now let's move on to one of the biggest survival theories. The recently released trailer might have given us a hidden clue about who will make it to the end. Fans believe everything in the scene is symbolic. The colors, the positioning, the body language. The players' poses hint at their fates. Those who are standing might survive, while those who are sitting could meet their end. Is this just a coincidence? Or is it a deliberate visual foreshadowing? We won't have to wait too long to find out. If you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like, subscribe, and don't miss our next video, where we dive into the secret passphrases from Season 2.